Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We just sat through about an hour and a half of shit just so we could put it on display for you.
We just watched the Artemis Fowl movie. It just debuted on Disney Plus because movie theaters are closed, and you know why, but we can't say it because we'll get demonetized.
Really?
Yeah.
So guess what I'm gonna say? No.
Artemis Fowl, where do you begin? Where did they begin?
No, we begin right where it ends.
Why?
What the fuck? They didn't read any of the book. No, they read the inside cover label on the book.
They went to Goodreads.com and read the synopsis.
They were in the bookstore with their mom reading through the inside coverlet, and they had to leave to get to their sister's piano recital. They glanced at the barcode and took most of their plot from that, because they left us in black and white with shit.
Are we recording? Good. If you've ever seen the movie Battlefield Earth, if you've ever read the book, that movie was more true to film than Artemis Fowl.
The book was dope. The movie was on dope.
yeah, pretty much. Okay, so, Artemis Fowl, the character.
He's supposed to be a criminal mastermind, emotionless, like the newer version of Sherlock Holmes.
Calculating,
but
cold.
Is a child.
12 years old.
No, I mean, that's not that hard to portray in movies. I mean, you just tell them, don't feel.
Skinny.
They told him to really feel.
He's skinny, he's out of shape, he wears sunglasses because the actual sunlight hurts his eyes because he's a fucking nerd.
He gets winded going up a small flight of stairs.
Yeah, because
first 5 minutes of the film, he's winded.
Because he's pure mental. He's not a doer.
Surfing off the coast of Ireland.
Yeah.
Honestly, I didn't even remember that they were in Ireland. It's been a while
since...
Well,
the author is Irish, so naturally it would make sense. And you gotta give credit where credit's due. Almost every actor had an Irish accent, and that was believable. It was nice that they didn't Americanize that, so props there. Also props to the visuals, which did look good.
They were well done.
Except for the troll, which looked awful. But visually, the film was very adequate. Not pleasing. Adequate. Visually.
It's hard to say something looked good when the smell hits you.
It's like one of Gordon Ramsay's kitchen nightmares. You go in and you look at the food and you're like, okay, I might be able to do that, but then you kind of step within olfactory distance of the kitchen, and and all of a sudden it's fucking raw. This movie was not ready to come out of the oven.
No, it wasn't. They shouldn't have taken it off the drawing board.
Butler. Now, I'm gonna say something may or may not be controversial. I don't give a shit. Butler's a white guy, or at the very least...
He was like European, almost like The Rock.
He's described as being, what is it, Eastern European, I think, and bald. He's bald.
He's bald as shit.
He's bald as shit because they point out distinctly that light glints off of his head repeatedly. And I think he has to wear a hat sometimes because that way it's...
I don't think he ever wore a hat.
Well, when he's in disguise.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Not much to disguise, though. I mean,
he's bald.
Huge.
In this movie, he has white hair, which would imply that he's old, which Butler is not. He's like, what, 35 or something? Because he's been guarding art. He trained his entire life from birth to be a guardian. And then the moment Artemis was born, I'm pretty sure Butler was the first person to ever hold him because he is Artemis's guardian for life.
And his dad was off doing,
criminal
bad guy
shit.
Stuff.
Yes, because the Fowls are a criminal family. In this movie, they're portrayed as philanthropists.
And what did they say in the movie that Butler got his training at a Gold's Gym?
And he was like 10 years ex-Mossad and like 5 years training in Kenya.
He was very specially trained for one reason: to protect Artemis. He was not the brains. He was very specifically the brawn. And
he was very,
Artemis, look out!
Yeah, in the books he's very, very intelligent, but he's not the one calling the shots. He's very smart because he knows where he's at
in this.
He knows his place. His place is the butler.
Yes, he's the butler.
He's the guy who says, here are my opinions, here are my thoughts, but you give the orders, you're in charge. I work for you.
I'll give you the tactical, but in the end, what are we doing?
Butler, analysis.
And his name. His name is Butler. You can call him the Butler. In the movie,
they say
you call him the Butler.
He'll snap you in half.
No,
you call him
if you
Dom.
call him Dom, he will snap you in half.
Yeah, you call him Dom. I don't know. If you call him Dom, he will drag you away to a personal private room and ask, "How the fuck do you know my name?"
They only learned his name was Domovoy
when he
in,
died.
The 5th book or something.
Because that was the thing. In order to maintain professional distance from his charge, which they didn't do because he is Artemis's only friend, and that's a mix of a failing on Butler's part, but also that's a life thing. He is the only trusted companion Artemis will ever have. That's his job. That's his purpose in life. But Butler only revealed his name to Artemis when Butler died. When he knew.
In the movie, when Butler died, he cried.
He cried.
Wept. Artemis wept. The emotionless bot showed tears.
Artemis isn't supposed to realize he's a human being until like book 4 when he realizes, maybe indiscriminately robbing people is not good.
And in the end of the first book, Butler was like, I know we're gonna keep like doing all this criminal stuff, but let's not kidnap people. And
Butler has a conscience.
Yeah, let's not do that. But yeah, criminal stuff.
They have a conscience. They're not horrible people. They're just... Artemis is put in a very difficult situation in the book. In a very difficult situation as his father was recently presumed dead after some drug deal went wrong, I think.
Yeah.
And Artemis spent... I believe Artemis spent a long time and most of the family fortune trying to find his father and had to find a way to get the family fortune back. His idea was, well, I'm seeing a lot of things, I'm piecing them together. I think there's fairies in the world, and we're going to go ahead and kidnap a fairy because it says here in their Bible that I illegally acquired. I illegally acquired a Bible by poisoning a fairy with holy water.
Yes. And no, it wasn't holy water. It was no, was it?
No, it was rice wine.
Yeah, rice wine because
poisoned rice wine.
Her powers or constitution or something.
Yeah, something like that.
And she was like, yeah,
and he gave her the book, and then he gave her the...
No. He didn't poison her with it. He gave it to her, and she was just like, yeah, just give me more of that rice wine.
No, he did poison her.
And
then he gave her... No, it was the addiction, but then he poisoned her as saying, you now have no choice, give me the book. And then he took the book, scanned it, gave the book back, because he's not an asshole. And then he gave her the antidote anyways, and they went on their way. Yeah. Because Artemis isn't an asshole. He's desperate. He's a desperate child, desperately attempting to regain his family's fortune by kidnapping a fairy and demanding 1 ton of metric gold.
As you do!
And this was not in the movie. The gold took...
There was no mention. I can't even remember what the thing was called that he had to go and get the Oculus.
The Oculus Rift. That's what it was. It was an Oculus Rift.
Only fairies could use. Like an acorn, because in the book she had to take an acorn and plant it near some tree to recharge her magic, which in the movie... They went to it's an infinite thing.
Yeah.
You have all the magic.
No, it's not an infinite thing because apparently High Command can just turn off your magic at the push of a button. Because your magic is built into your suit.
That makes sense. And her dad was killed.
Yeah, they never mentioned her
dad.
Oh, and Artemis and Holly had a moment because their dads are dead.
Yeah. Oh my God! It was the Batman versus Superman. Your mom's name is Martha.
Why do you know that name?
Oh my God! Oh. They bonded. He was like,
Artemis willingly
and he said friends forever. In the book, he said, I don't like lollipops. And that was like, and Butler was like, Artemis, are you okay? You just said, and he was like, I know what I said. We're moving on.
Yeah. And
gather your hatred.
One of the major plot points in the book is that they have to wear mirrored sunglasses to avoid the mesmer, which is where a fairy can take control of your mind.
It sounded like shit.
I
know in movies
It sounded like the original Dune movie when they were using the voice. You've not seen it, but trust me,
I've heard it.
It sounds like a demon gargling Listerine.
I know in movies they struggle to show that sort of thing.
It can be hard.
I would sort of expect it to sound like a very attractive voice. Like a mermaid, because
it's a siren song. You want to obey it.
I don't want to obey a piece of shit. It's like, it's like,
right?
Shut up, goblin.
Right, and okay.
And the goblins look like Dobby, and the orcs from Lord of the Rings had an ugly baby.
Hey, a drunken one-night stand that somehow turned into an army of 500.
Or was the guy saying in Deadpool like sex is their only catharsis.
Yeah, it was a very bad relationship.
Otherwise, it'd resort to physical violence. Yeah. Mulch was a grown man. He looked. I understand the guy who plays him can't help it, but I honestly thought it was Jack
But they
Black.
could help it. If they made Tyrion Lannister into a giant, they could turn Mulch into a dwarf.
But my thing is, he looked like Jack Black.
He does. Why does he look?
His teeth.
He sounds like
his teeth were. That's
his,
not really a problem.
In the books,
actually,
Mulch,
I mean, yeah, anybody he could look like. He honestly could look like Jack Black.
Okay,
but he had tiny teeth.
One character at a time. We're focusing on Holly.
Okay, Holly.
Okay, Holly. In the books,
she's short.
Yes, that's her name. Her name is Holly Short, and sometimes people mistakenly call her Polly Little, and it's funny because it's a children's book. It is a children's book. You have to understand this. We read it when we were kids.
We still love it. That book was awesome.
It's a fantastic. They get kind of strange later in the series with the runes and the hexes, but it's still a good series.
Yeah,
it ends on a good note.
It's well written. The plot is continuous.
It's cohesive. Okay, Holly Short. Her entire character arc through the series is the LEP, the Lower Elements Police, LEP Recon Leprechaun. Is a kid's book. Deal with it. She is the first female officer ever, or one of, either or. Julius Root, her direct senior officer, is an incredible hard-ass, almost, but not quite, to the point of Arch Dornan, or...
He's basically J. Jonah Jameson from Spider-Man. He's always
much
red and angry in the face, smoking some cigar, and he doesn't want your whiny-ass attitude.
And he's always the hardest on Holly because he knows she's the first woman allowed on the Force. She has to be the example, and he cares for her very deeply, as you see later in the
Holly
book.
Short is a menace.
You see, he cares for her very deeply later in the books, but he has to be a complete hard-ass.
Yeah.
In the movie, what do? Julius Root is a woman.
Yeah.
And I understand
old woman.
progressivism
really
and things like that, but it completely destroys Holly Short's character.
You can't just change the gender of a character because you want representation.
And representation is important, don't get me wrong, yes. But that was her entire character arc.
I'm just going to say, maybe that air quote thing was a little poorly placed.
But throughout the entire series, that's her character arc, is she's the first one, and it's a huge fucking deal, and everybody gives her shit over it. She gets no respect, nothing. And
no respect
in the movie, she's just another officer. There's nothing special about her.
She walked down the street, and everyone was cool about it.
Nobody gave her shit. In the books, she would walk down the street, and
stuff,
even the other officers would look at her up and down and be like, "What the fuck are you supposed to be? Get back to the kitchens where you belong," or whatever their equivalent is. It's just
they got the swear word right, Darvid.
Darvid, yeah, but they didn't put in nice swear toads, which I was bummed about. But I don't think those were in the first book, anyways. But it would still.
I thought that was a Harry Potter thing, honestly.
No,
when you said that.
Yeah, but then Mulch Diggums, they're not friends.
No,
in the
they're
first
really not.
In the first book, she doesn't know who is he. He's a criminal who's already in prison, isn't he?
Yeah, he was in their jail, basically their police lockup, because he was doing whatever.
Yeah.
And the only reason they picked him was because, like, he was the only one they had in lockup.
Yeah, well, no, I think it's because he's the most effective at what he does. That's why he's in such lockup.
Yeah, no, maybe they.
And they did have it right that they were there is a massive war, and you pointed this out to me. There is a massive turf war going on because none of the fairy species get along. Let's be real, none of them do. They're all cooped up together in this tiny little city called Haven, and it's not a paradise. It's one step short of a hellhole. They're living in essentially squalor with high tech. They're the people in Zion in the Matrix.
Combination.
It's Zion in the Matrix. High tech.
Oh yeah.
High tech, low standards of living. We're all doomed. Pretty much.
Doomed.
But yeah, and she gave Mulch Diggums a human cassette tape player with human earbuds, listening to 80s music.
It vaguely looked like it belonged to them, like slightly.
It was glowing a little, and that's how you could tell it was high tech.
He's like, I picked your pocket of this. He wasn't listening to any. I mean, okay, he wasn't listening to.
Why did all the fairies listen to this 80s music from human?
Why would she? She hated the humans. She thought they were ridiculous.
In the books, yeah, all fairies hate humans. We're the only reason the fairies were forced
in our own houses.
Right? We have in our own houses. What's wrong with we're not communing with nature. We pour concrete all over everything. The only reason the humans won over the fairies in the books is because we multiply like rabbits, live relatively short lives, and we punch harder.
Yeah.
That was it.
Anger wins.
It does.
They're just pissed off because we're better at invading than they are. We're more effective.
Foley wasn't a bad character.
He wasn't.
But he's way more effeminate, and he's...
I didn't really see that. The hair kind of was effeminate, but...
I liked the hair. It looked good. It was very...
It was
very Elrond.
When I read the Artemis Fowl books as a kid, I had never previously read any book on centaurs, so I always pictured him with a horse's face. It made some of the things that they said pretty hard to picture, because they were like talking about him having a mouthpiece, and I was like, how long is the mouthpiece?
Well, remember, he did have a special chair constructed just so he could sit down.
Oh yeah, he did, and he was paranoid.
He was so paranoid.
He had a tinfoil on all the time because he thought everybody above ground was reading his mind.
And he had a beard, and then he never groomed it, and he was always eating fast food, and he was fat. If you've ever watched Archer, you know the character Bilbo. You've not watched Archer.
I've watched Archer, but I don't know
the really fat guy who sits in the tech room, and he's blonde. He's got a little goatee. Yeah, he's a very one-off character who dies in like season 4 or whatever, because Mallory slaps him hard enough to give him a heart attack, and then Krieger takes his body away later, and it's funny.
What kind of slap makes a heart attack?
One from Mallory Archer.
That's the angry mom, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would kill
the lady from Arrested Development. Anyways, yeah, Foley, he's a neckbeard, he's fat, he doesn't care about his personal hygiene until like book 6 when he gets a girlfriend and eventually gets married. Because remember,
it's been such a long time.
Holly and Artemis get frozen in time and jump forward like 6 years. And remember, Butler's working on the docks.
Yeah, I
and
remember
Foley's got
kids.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. The books were so much better.
They were. They went into things without stitching them all together.
Juliet.
She was going to be a heavyweight champion in
wrestling.
Latin America or something.
In some wrestling thing.
And she had long braided hair with a little jade thing on the end. Like,
he thinks it's a ball. He thinks it's a ball. I think it's a ring.
No, I thought it was just a jewel that she wound into the...
Either or. It's something she kept in her hair.
She had short frizzy hair. I understand, she's a...
she's
a girl of color.
Yeah.
So she has frizzy hair.
But in the book, and this is why in the books and in the graphic novels, both Butler and Juliet, they are white or Caucasian-ish, and it's. I know that
she was like the Jade Princess or something.
Yes, that was her name. She was the Jade Princess.
That was her name because she'd swing around and hit people with a stone and knock them out.
Yeah, because she wasn't just a wrestler. She was training to be a butler because she needed the blue diamond tattoo on her arm or back of her head.
She was training, but then she stopped to become a.
Well, because she wasn't as good to go through with it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because Artemis Fowl ended up having a little sister. Remember? And Julia,
I thought it was a brother.
Either or, he was supposed to.
He had a kid.
And I understand that again, what we were talking about earlier, the need for representation. But in the books and in the
you can't just change a character to please you. If you want representation, do it in a movie that's not based on a book.
And that's the thing. There was representation in the books. Holly Short, first female officer, massive deal. She was a big hit in not the best ways because people were misogynistic as hell, but it was still a big deal, and she made a name for herself. And the Butlers, again,
there wasn't much representation there because they were.
No, but Holly Short wasn't white. In the movie, she is for some reason.
Yeah, she was like. I wanted to say she's like.
They describe her as having nut brown skin because they are Earth people. Yeah, and Mulch Dickens is supposed to have gray skin, and he looks kind of stony, and his teeth are like tombstones.
Yeah, they call him Tombstone.
Yeah, and like
and he
they
freaks people out by smiling because they're like, "Those teeth are a bit big for your head, there, boss."
When he smiles, he looks like Boris the animal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he's got these gigantic tombstone teeth because they're made specifically to chew through. Oh, there's pictures of Mulch Dickens online, and they're terrifying. And Butler is supposed to be bald. He's not bald in the movie. He's got white hair, which implies that he's old. He's only supposed to be like 35. What the hell? Come on.
I thought he was around 40 or 50.
No, because he can't be. He's not that old. He's 40 or 50 after he gets resurrected. Butler gets resurrected, and it's awesome. He's very depressed about it, and he has to shave his hair.
Well, I don't entirely agree with this picture. That is supposed to be Mulch Diggums.
That's not exact.
That,
I don't
know if you
wow,
can see that.
You can't see that for shit. Anyways,
He had huge teeth.
Yeah.
And no, he wasn't some overgrown dwarf. He was a dwarf.
It was just a dwarf. He's a dwarf. He's just a right, and his
hair moved like tentacles.
Yeah.
It was
Mulch
they were supposed to be
Diggums'
tiny tentacles, but they weren't prehensile.
Yeah. Mulch Diggum's plot in the film is that he wants to not be stuck with the goblins because they're going to kill him because there's a turf war, race war, whatever going on between dwarves and goblins because, again, fairies don't get along. The Fey folk don't get along, more accurately.
Yeah.
But also, in this movie, he wants to be shrunk down to be like other dwarves. He calls himself Dwarfus Giganticus. That's not a thing in the books. He just... All he wants, and we talked about this during the
just
film,
to get out.
He wants to get out and steal every Oscar on the planet and keep them all in his house.
And as soon as he got in the house, which... I'm gonna say he passed by a warren of rabbits and he went into the wine cellar because it had a wooden floor. He went up in there and his first thought was not, well, I'm gonna help my buddies in the LAP. His first thought was, I'm gonna steal all your shit.
No, wait. In the book, didn't he go through a warren of rabbits and eat them all, and then he like stored some of the bones in his beard?
No, he like marked it in his memory. He was like, I'm gonna come back afterwards and eat them.
Yeah, something like that.
Because he felt the vibrations.
His beard hairs, dwarf's beard hairs,
they're
they're a network of antennas, tiny little antennas like on an ant or a cockroach.
Yeah.
And so he was able to use those and press his ear against a lock, and it made a perfect suction cup because they use these for mining. And he repurposed, and in the movie they make a point, all dwarves are criminals. No, this particular one chooses to be a criminal. And
all the rest of them usually just kept to themselves.
Well, they never mention any other dwarves.
Well, yeah, but they
mentioned like 3 more, but they were all, again, in shackles going to prison. That was it. There was no dwarf representation. And there was no pixie representation. Okay, Opal Cowboy.
What the hell? She was Foley's, his adversary in making tech.
Yeah.
That was it for like the first 3 books.
Yeah, she gets no mention in the first couple books
and
other than to say
she's just like this cloaked figure, and from what I could see of her face, she looked like Emotep.
Yeah, she looks very
you can see all these gaps in her face, and she talks all raspy.
And she's got long, wispy golem hair.
And it's like, no.
And no, in the books, she's supposed to be very beautiful.
Yeah.
She's supposed to be very beautiful, and that's one of the ways, because she's a tech person. She sells shit. she owns a very successful tech company. What is it? Cowboy Corp or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And she did not care about Artemis Fowl's dad.
She doesn't give a... Nobody cares about Artemis Fowl's dad. He's a human. The fairies don't give a crap about humans.
The only reason they had anything to do with Artemis was because he kidnapped Holly Short when she was trying to grow her magic back from the tree.
Yeah.
He hit her with a dart.
In the movie, they...
Don't avoid it. Take the shot. He's like,
his name is Butler.
He's like, no, he was the one that shot him. Butler was just waiting in the car. He was talking to him. He's like, are you even sure this is gonna show up? And he's like, yeah, I got this. And Butler, of course, didn't have a doubt. As soon as Artemis is like, yeah, I got this.
Butler does not doubt Artemis. Okay. Butler knows better. Yeah. Artemis is so emotional in this movie. In the books,
he was just like, he was crying, and he was unsure of himself, and all through the movie, I'm a good guy. At the very end, I'm a criminal mastermind. It's like,
no, he's not.
Where did the leap take place?
All right, you've seen Hunger Games, the movie. The big issue people had with the Hunger Games. What was her name? It wasn't Angelina Jolie, was it? Who played Katniss? Was it? No, it was not Angelina.
It was not Angelina
No.
Jolie.
Okay, whatever her name is, whoever played Katniss Everdeen, people hated her in that movie because her acting was a block of wood. Because in the books, she had to emotionally steel herself.
Jennifer Lawrence.
Yes, thank you, Jennifer Lawrence. She had to steel herself emotionally because her life was so shitty. In the books, that's just how Artemis Fowl was. If Artemis Fowl played this movie as a block of wood, it would have been a lauded performance.
Oh my god, they could have gotten stumped from What was that? It wasn't Angry Beaver. Yeah, Angry Beaver.
Stumpy! He's big, he's solid, he's wood!
Have him sitting there in a chair, it's like, Artemis, how do you feel about your dad? Oh, I see.
Plank! They could have replaced
Plank.
They could have replaced Artemis with the gorilla mannequin! And it would have been a better performance. My throat is getting really raw from yelling. The gorilla mannequin needs to be discussed.
It is perfectly normal for me to It's a normal mannequin!
You should see the other mannequin.
I just put a mask on him.
But anyway, Artemis Fowl was way too emotional. Okay, Artemis Fowl writes...
It wasn't that he was way too emotional, it's just that he had emotions.
Yeah, there you go.
He was a blank slate.
He's supposed to be, not a blank slate, no, he's a plank slate.
Yes.
He is half plank, half shale. In the books.
I'll go with that.
Yeah. And in the movie, he rides a skateboard and wears jeans and a beanie.
It was a weird-ass beanie. Normal people don't wear that.
Now, we have to discuss this. My phone's battery's getting low. We have to discuss... They set up something that should not have been set up.
A sequel.
No. Oh, yes, but remember the familial ties.
There's reason to believe that Artemis Fowl is partially of fairy descent. And we believe
that he may be...
We
believe that he may be Holly's half-brother.
A descendant of Ogo Cowboy herself.
Yes, because the way it is framed in the film, it is alluded to, but never stated.
Because here's what we saw.
Magic
was cut off in the entire house somehow by their magical buddies.
Right.
Artemis picks up the gun, which Holly could not use because the magic was turned off, and he just starts shooting with it.
Yes.
That could either be a break in the plot where they just didn't understand continuity and what that means.
Yeah,
or
we're not putting it past
We're taking the movie as shit and we're just saying he's got magic.
Because Holly had a magic dampener in her arm. Artemis did not because he's not an LEP, but he was still able to use magic weapons. On top of that, Artemis...
And there's the whole Star-Lord thing. A human cannot use it. Oh, you got a feeling right there that he was going to end up using it. Or he's going to grant her his power.
Oh, which, in the later books, Artemis does get magic, but that's separate. But also...
I gotta reread these books. I mean, I know what goes on enough to hate the movie.
But also, Artemis's mother is dead.
She was just sick in the book. She had a Mr. Freeze wife thing going on.
Yeah, in the books, in the first several books, she is in a medically induced, almost complete coma because she suffers from a horrific disease that nobody can cure. In later books, it is revealed that Opal Cowboy is actually cursing his mother with this disease in an attempt to fuck with Artemis because plot reasons that I don't recall specifically.
Stuff.
Yeah. But his mother is alive. She's just very ill. That's why Juliet, Butler's younger sister, is in the house. First off, Juliet is not 12. She's like 18 or 20.
Yeah, she's...
And second, she is Artemis Fowl's mother's direct caregiver. That is why she's in the house at all.
Because she's part of the Butler family line, whose main goal in life was...
The Butler... The reason we use the word Butler in the common lexicon, in the books, is because the family of butlers, Joe Mavoy and Juliet, you don't know his name is Joe Mavoy, shut up, they have served the Fowl family for so long that they have become the standard to set to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were like the ultimate in butlers.
They were the first manservant. Before that, you were just called a manservant. They gave the title butler. And they were good at it. Artemis Fowl in this movie does not enter combat. Butler takes him, picks him up very carefully, because he can, stuffs him in a secure concrete room with cameras so he can watch, and Butler goes and wrecks some shit. And should we talk about Butler wrecking some shit?
Butler was supposed to kill the troll who's not supposed to have dreadlocks.
The troll in the book...
It was this big, lanky motherfucker that looked a lot like a mix between the cave troll and a bald version of the giant from from Game of Thrones.
They have patchy yellow fur. They're very intelligent. They're very hungry, and they're about 9 feet tall. They're lanky as shit.
They got like
they're
horns and stuff.
Yeah, no, they don't
like
have horns. They just
saw
have
blades or
long tusks coming out of here.
and they're like
super long claws.
Yeah,
and they wreck shit. And in the movie, it's just some very
it just blunders around.
It's a very obvious human with bad CGI that's 15 feet tall. In the book, Butler fights the troll one-on-one.
He kicks its ass so bad that they take the recording and they use it to train future police officers for the LEP recon.
Yeah, as what not to do in this situation and how to avoid this particular human being.
Because he takes their most feared enemy and he's just like, fuck you.
Yeah.
He takes a mace and just blows
Let's keep
it
talking,
apart.
but I need a phone charger. Let's keep talking.
We don't have anything to plug it into over there.
There's a plug right here.
Okay.
But yes,
Let's take that white one. Yeah, that one.
Butler takes a suit of armor in the front of the house.
He just fucking equips it like it's the most normal thing.
Which of these three can I unplug?
Oh god.
Just pick one.
I don't know what you will connect to anymore.
This one leads over. This is your laptop. I'm unplugging it.
my laptop. Oh god.
Oh, heaven forbid.
I don't know if I saved stuff.
Your laptop shouldn't die in the 20 minutes we're going to be talking about this.
Okay, so, I remember
Hello.
distinctly that Butler dove between its legs and just took out its Achilles tendons with a mace. That was his weapon.
Did he?
Yeah.
It was awesome.
And the thing didn't have time to react. In the movie...
I can't tell if this is charging or not.
Is it playing?
Yeah, we're recording again. Sorry, we lost, contact, whatever.
In the movie, he spends half his time on the back and on his back, and then half the rest of it being.
Yeah.
crushed.
What is the point of Butler in the movie? He
was pointing out obvious shit to me. He's like,
Oh,
go to the last page.
yeah, with the
Look at that. What your father said to you. He's like, shut up. He knows what he's doing.
Okay.
Artemis Fowl.
A very important plot point. Butler, Domovoy Butler, did not work for Artemis Senior.
Nope.
Not at all.
He was like, I don't know.
He was Artemis's manservant. He worked for Artemis, and he didn't give a shit what Artemis Senior thought or did. That's only for the sole reason that Artemis Senior isn't in the book. Do you not agree?
I don't remember it well enough to disagree with you.
Fair enough. But Butler works for Artemis.
Yeah.
Artemis is the brains, and they say this in the beginning of the movie is Artemis is the brains, and then the entire rest of the movie is spent with Butler ordering Artemis around with Artemis.
And Artemis being the most naive piece of shit.
Artemis calls the plot points, but Butler does the actual thinking.
Yeah.
And the plot of the film bounces like a fucking pinball.
Save Daddy from the Opal Cowboy who cares.
Okay, another plot point, and this pissed me off. They never in this movie said that Opal was the bad guy directly. They alluded that Artemis Fowl Sr., his father, was working against Opal Cowboy, but then in the next scene, they show a mysterious hooded figure on a cell phone with Artemis Fowl Jr., and the caption tells us that it's Opal Cowboy. But the movie never does. If you're not listening with the caption...
I hate when caption does that. It's like, can't you just say mysterious figure until its name?
Right.
I understand that the people who do captions put a lot of time and effort into that, and major respect there. But
when the captioning gives away a major plot point that the movie can't figure out how to articulate...
Upsetting. I need my movies to be better. I think we've covered everything.
Owen Colfer, you done fucked up.
No. He did not.
He had to sign off on this.
Let's not place any blame on
Disney!
him. He wrote,
You fucked up.
what you done? This is your childhood. Okay. Here's what I want.
Opal Cowboy.
No.
We're coming for you.
No. Fuck that.
Oh.
I want live action Teletubbies with a 007 meets like Fast and the Furious plot.
Ugh.
No, like you know how they had that new version of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, the Nicktoons one. Oh.
I want you to do that with Teletubbies, and the son is like their informant, but only they can see it. They look up and they put on the special sunglasses. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, and it's Sean Connery or like I don't know if he's still around, Pierce Brosnan.
I think Pierce Brosnan's still alive.
Or they have one of the guys who does the guy that does the voice on the previews. Coming soon. You know, it sounds
Coming
totally
soon to own on
totally
VHS and DVD.
awesome.
Well, how long has it been since a VHS tape?
I still own VHS.
Whatever you're talking about, it would still be better than this movie.
And they need to have that movie. And the bad guy would be Barney.
Everyone hates Barney.
When I was in middle school, the bad guy was Barney. Everybody's talking, you know, Teletubbies versus Barney, who would win. And
Why are you discussing this in middle school?
We talked about some weird shit.
Obviously.
We talked about some weird shit.
Okay, so Artemis Fowl. Final thoughts.
I don't think we can rate this movie.
I
don't think this counts as a movie.
On a scale of 0 to 10, what would you rate it?
Let me see.
Okay, let's try it a different way. Visuals, how would you rate it?
I give it 3 out of 5 schmeckies.
Okay. Plot?
2 goldfish crackers and half a bean.
Okay. Acting?
They got Colin Farrell.
Who?
The dad.
Oh, yeah.
The rest of them weren't.
Oh, why was Butler fat?
He was supposed to. They needed to have the mountain as Butler. That would have been closer. That would have been terrifying.
I always picture
the troll would have come in and been like, "Fuck that! I've seen Game of Thrones. The fuck." Have you seen that scene?
Yes!
Where he crushed the guy's head.
I've seen a lot of it.
Oh my god! The troll would have been like, no!
But see, that's more realistic to what happened in the book.
If they could have had him play the troll, burst in, and everyone would have been like, no.
What they should have done, they should have had the mountain play the troll and
then had The Rock play Butler.
Not The Rock, but Vin Diesel. Vin Diesel would have been a good Butler, mainly because of the shaved head, I think.
I actually don't think so.
And the fact that he's shaped like a refrigerator. I mean, okay, who should have played Butler? And this is a completely this is a completely serious suggestion.
Who?
Kronk.
Patrick Warburton.
No, not Patrick Warburton. Kronk. If you got Kronk and made him real and shaved him bald and then made it, he is loyal and he is intelligent.
I hesitate to say stupid, but I'm bordering there. Now he was genius in the fact that he had his own fucking theme music. Right? But like, and the shoulder angel. Butler did not have a shoulder angel.
Butler didn't even have
a shoulder angel.
Butler probably ate his shoulder angel. But okay, so yeah, if we got the mountain as the troll, because it would have been, how awesome would it be to see somebody beat that up in a suit of armor that's haphazardly slotted on? Yeah, but this would have been better.
Okay, but who would have played Butler?
That's the thing, and this is the hardest part, is finding a good person to actually play it, because it's really, really hard to find.
The kid playing Artemis Fowl, sure.
It would have worked.
It would have hair supposed to be slicked.
Yes. Okay, the kid playing Artemis Fowl could have been a decent.
His tie was too damn skinny.
His
tie was half an inch thick.
Artemis Fowl could have actually been a good Artemis Fowl. The actor was fine. He needed better direction.
The actors were all fine except for Butler. They needed someone more.
And Holly. Butler, Holly, and Root. And Mulch.
Root was supposed to be a dude.
And Mulch was supposed to be okay,
that
wait,
tall.
so we need to stop?
No, Root could have been any size. Who cares about the person's actual
I'm
size?
saying the only actor then who was actually decent was Artemis.
Oh.
What does that say?
Now let's go through the characters
Who should have played the characters? Okay, Julius Root.
I'm really stuck on. They should have had J. Jonah Jameson play Julius Root.
That could have really
worked.
Okay,
but
so
at the same time, I don't know.
If they CGI him and everything, okay, and
that totally would have worked.
And here's another issue:
he has the face.
None of these characters looked like elves. They were all the same size as humans, and they all looked like
I've seen
humans.
Lord of the Rings. This is not beyond the realm of capabilities.
Like,
and that was done like way before CGI was like the big thing.
Yeah, this was in like 2001. I mean, come on, the elves. Holly Short looks like she would not be out of place in Santa's workshop.
Yeah, she reminded me
the
of
Santa Claus.
Judy, the girl who was serving the hot chocolate.
Well, you're 82 years old. You're still young. Shut the fuck up.
No one knows about your ages.
I don't think they ever mentioned it in the book.
And who cares? 82 years. What are you trying? Are you trying to prove that you're old?
She was like 400. But again,
but it's like,
who gives a shit?
That. We don't care about your age. We want to see your shit.
But so J. Jonah Jameson as Julius Root, Mulch Diggins.
Oh, what's his name? I hate to pronounce this wrong. Taika Waititi, the guy from
Taika Waititi.
He should have played Foley.
Yes,
that
okay.
could have been good.
And Dave Bautista as Mulch. I think it could. No,
could he have played Butler? Oh
yes!
my god! That would work. He had a good face. He had a good body shape.
He's got the right build.
He was muscular without being too skinny.
Yeah.
That could have worked, Dave Bautista.
Dave Bautista as Butler.
And he's a good actor.
And he's somebody you could realistically see going against the mountain.
And he could do the face of, like...
Yes. Okay,
yeah,
so Dave Bautista as Butler, the mountain as the troll, J. Jonah
Sofia Vergara as Holly Short.
Who?
Excuse me.
Ileana Kadushin as Holly Short. Or, they could have gotten Jason Momoa now. Yeah, Jason Momoa as Mulch. He's got the hair for it.
Holly Short?
No.
Sofia Vergara.
No, because Holly Short's a pixie. She's an elf, or whatever she's a fae folk. But she's supposed to be...
Oh!
Who?
Oh my god.
Who?
What's her name from, Game of Thrones?
Sansa?
Marjorie.
Who's Marjorie? I don't watch Game of Thrones. I read it.
Marjorie Tyrell from Game of Thrones.
She could have been...
She has the angular face.
Yeah.
Elves all have the angular face.
Yeah,
look at Legolas.
Yeah, you could have shrunk her down, made her pixie size, and boom, Holly Short.
And how could that face not be Holly Short?
That is very much a Holly Short face. They got the fucking basement wrong.
She was supposed to be in a newly made. I don't think it was newly made.
Yeah,
it was
because
the
concrete was fresh. It was still wet in one corner because it was only a couple.
Bashed it apart to bury the acorn.
Remember,
just to give her the
Artemis
minimum.
planned this for like 2 months.
He was working day and night, and he couldn't figure out the Bible because it was in a spiral shape.
It was in it was in Gnomish. And why in the LEP do they watch human TV, listen to human music? They all speak English, which understandable for plot reasons.
That makes
even
sense.
all of their newscasts, all of their writing is in English. It doesn't even have any weird accent marks over it. Come on.
Actually, it did look kind of funny.
Barely. It was a font at best.
Yeah.
And the fairy Bible's supposed to be like 3 inches square.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that little. Remember the movie Enemy Mine?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had the little gold
Yeah.
book. Same thing.
Pretty much.
Okay. Any other characters?
We never figure out much.
Jack Black! No.
It already was!
No, I think the character for Mulch was fine. I thought that was pretty good. They just should have made his teeth bigger.
And they shouldn't have CGI'd his jaw.
What'd they do?
Stretching his nose. He's supposed to have a giant mouth that's like...
Which is why he had giant teeth?
Yeah, it's shaped like a rock, and he just naturally unhinges it. And he's got the bum flap on his pants like old-timey clothes.
Like a prospector.
Yeah. Because that's essentially kind of what he was.
The goblins were fine, but they could have looked a little less Dobby-ish.
Yeah, the goblins were actually, honestly, I gotta say the goblins were
pretty close.
True to form. Yeah.
They were grumpy enough?
They were shit, but the whole movie was shit. Foley. I think we
Why was he named?
I don't know. And
I mean, honestly, centaurs, I don't really feel like a centaur would name.
No, I don't think so, because only the bottom
They're too...
The top half is human. And he's skinny and incredibly well groomed, and he's not paranoid. In the books, he's none of those. He is
paranoid.
He's paranoid as shit. He's
more paranoid than Lester from GTA 5. Well, they're listening in.
Well, to be fair, Lester has reasoning.
Lester has reasoning.
But he's fat because all he does is eat fast food and work on his tech in his basement garage thing. He's not well groomed because he doesn't give a crap about himself. He's a neckbeard. He's a nerd. He's never been on a date in his life. The female Root, who doesn't get a name, her name is just Commander Root. They even dance
around her first name.
They make an assumption. They make a couple allusions to, what is your first name? And she just glares.
If you're gonna put a female character in the spot, at least give them a name.
Yeah, because that was one of Root's things. Is everybody called him Julius, and he hated it. Oh, and she didn't smoke. I mean, come on. Julius, that was like Julius.
At least CGI'd a blunt in there.
Yeah, lighten her up a little.
You could have her in a chair just with the blunt's like, fuck it, I don't care. Just go rescue some shit.
And she was Holly Short's mentor? No, she's supposed
hard ass on your case.
Yeah, she's supposed to be Arlie Army, but not as bad, but pretty damn close. Arlie Ermy, Full Metal Jacket, what's his name?
Oh, the gunnery sergeant guy?
Yeah.
Oh,
she was supposed to be very similar, but not as bad as that.
Oh, he's not really.
He's dead. He died in 2009, 10?
Great he would have been a terrifying... I give him a mustache, he would have been a terrifying Julius.
Great guy, great actor. I even saw him on this TV show where he talked about guns. He got in a tank and blew up a brick wall. It was awesome.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, he had an entire TV show just talking about, here's this gun. We're going to go shoot it.
I gotta watch that.
It was a great show.
That guy was terrifying as a drill sergeant.
Yeah. And that was what Root was like.
Well, not as much, but
again, not as bad, but he was a lot closer to whatever this neutered version was.
This movie was neutered.
This movie was so bad.
They tried to neuter it and ended up cutting the damn thing in half.
They tried
Fuck it, I can't find the balls, we're just gonna cut off of the belly button.
Pretty much.
Job well done, we stapled it shut.
They tried to cut off the balls and they ended up taking out all the guts too.
Well, the legs are gone, but I pretty much...
What about the legs? They don't need those.
I hazard that the balls are gone.
Well, no wonder this movie didn't have any legs. It had nothing to stand on. But so, yeah, we watched it so you don't have to. This movie was shit. We're not getting those 2 hours back. And they've set up the sequel bait of, we're coming for you, Opal Cowboy. Oh boy, they're not.
It's not going to be like Endgame, they get her in the first 5 minutes, then realize they have to go back. And they get the wizard guy from the bottom of Taipei 101. Where the statue circle of wizards. They get him. They go into the whole thing. Every backstory and thing.
They've still got the acorn that somehow Mulch swallowed and didn't die. He essentially wait. It's their greatest treasure. There's 6 other there's 6 other fairy races. What if each of them has a treasure and they have to get the Infinity Gauntlet?
It's just like it has huge acorns all over it.
Oh.
When you snap, but they're all teleporter things. When you snap your fingers.
No, this one's a teleporter thing.
No, think about it. If they're all teleporters, you snap your fingers and it just disembowels drawing towards you and sends your bits and pieces on the doorsteps.
You just look like Mr. Kinney from RoboCop. The guy who got shot by Ed 209. It just looks like that when you snap. You're just bloody mess. But, yeah.
Turns out it only teleports your hand. Really fucked up Thanos' plan. He was like, ah! Oh my god!
You know what I always thought was awesome? A nice difference between Endgame and Infinity War?
What?
In Infinity War, he wears the gauntlet on this hand, but in Endgame you wear it on this hand. So if you got the Infinity Gauntlet with all the stones, you could also get the Nano Gauntlet with all the stones and have twice as many.
Wait, so Iron Man wore it on this hand and
Thanos wore it on the other. The gold one was worn on this arm. And the red one was worn on this arm. I don't know why they did that specifically.
There's only 1 stone of each. Unless you went back in time.
They did go back in time.
If you go back in time, No, wait, you couldn't do that.
Okay, so
I want two robots.
Uh-huh.
Can a robot wield it?
The robot doesn't have the willpower to do anything with it.
This isn't a Thor situation.
Wait, but Vision was a robot. Could he wield it?
He wielded the one well enough.
Because he was derived from one,
let's
could he wield the others?
Let's say Cap is wearing one glove and Iron Man's wearing the other because this is devolving into that.
Right.
Cap snaps his with the sole intention of destroying Iron Man's, and Iron Man snaps to destroy Cap's.
Okay. They're both destroyed.
Would it kill them?
Probably.
What are the full potential of the Infinity Gauntlet?
Literally anything. You can do literally anything.
I would use it just to fuck with your shit.
You know what okay.
You'd be walking around your house in the middle of the night, and I'd teleport all these mirrors right in front of you to scare the shit out of you.
In the comics, that is
like, oh fuck!
In the comics, you know Thanos does that, right? Yeah. On his birthday every year, he takes the Infinity Gauntlet out of storage and he fucks with the Avengers a little. He'll leave giant turds in the toilet, or he'll turn on the TV and eat all the popcorn.
I saw the comic cover once. I don't think I'll ever forget it. Thanos was standing at a truck food vendor, and he was looking over the menu, and Deadpool was sneaking up behind him trying to steal the Infinity Gauntlet, which was somehow cloth and like tucked into the back of his pants. It was like,
are you sure it wasn't the Infinity Mitten?
I'm sure. We are so off topic.
We really are, but that's because there was no topic. There was no topic. It's on Disney Plus because, again, we can't say why, but you know why. But
they wouldn't put that shit in theaters. That is a direct-to-movie if I ever saw it.
Direct-to-video.
Oh, yeah,
no.
That's
They stamp this on the video and immediately frisbee into the $5 bin at Walmart.
I found it on sale behind a 7-Eleven. Because that's the only place they can
This is the movie your parents buy you when you're too poor to afford the book.
No, this is the movie that they put right at the cash register because you asked your grandma for a new movie and she's really sure with all her heart and soul that that's the one you asked for. This is the bootleg of the official that never will exist.
Your grandma, she's trying her best and she loves you with all her heart. And so she heard you like that new Call of Duty game, so she goes and they're out, but she sees Goat of Duty, which is a real game and I own it. And it's on sale for $5.
A sniper rifle just duct taped to his head.
I believe so, yes. No, it's Call of Duty, but you play as goats. I own it. You can play it.
I want a Borderlands where you're a goat.
But yeah, she's doing her best and she loves you, so she gets you Goat of Duty, and you open it up,
and you're just like,
and you open it up, and you have to pretend to be excited, and she's like, "Oh, put it in. Let's watch this. See it."
Oh, Grandma, no, it's porn.
Thank you, Grandma. I appreciate it. We'll get to it later. I want to spend time talking to you.
Make cookies because that.
It's.
You want to scar me, Grandma?
There is a story, the Star Wars Christmas special. There was only one confirmed copy of it in existence for so long. It was gifted to Carrie Fisher by George Lucas, who knowingly, blatantly hates it and has said on record, if I had a hammer and enough time, I would destroy every copy of this movie ever made. He did. He gifted a copy of the Star Wars Christmas special to Carrie Fisher. And do you know what she did with it? She put that movie on at the end of parties to make people go home.
This is that movie.
This is that movie.
You know what they say, those who fail to learn from history are doomed to repeat it.
We watched the trailer in preparation for this movie, and it was not preparation enough. We needed Preparation H to watch this movie.
I was just going to say something about Preparation H. This wasn't a movie, it was an excuse without an apology.
Yeah, no, this is just Disney punching us and asking us to like it. This is bad.
Boy.
This is bad. I rate this movie 10 out of 10 gauge shotgun shell. Yeah.
That's poorly worded. Do you feel shame, brother?
Daily.
That's our review. Deal with it.